Hello and welcome to Trinket on Cooldown's rated battlegun strategy videos. I'm your host Mograin. In this video we will be focusing on Arathi Basin from the Horde side. The team composition for this video will be one Resto Shaman, one Discipline Priest, one Holy Paladin, one Rogue, one Death Knight, one Retribution Paladin, one Major Warlock, one Warrior, one Hunter, and one Feral Druid. Alright, so let's kick this video off by describing what we're going to be doing at the start of the match. First, let's begin with the farm team, which will be composed of one hunter who will go out the gate straight down that ramp and go ahead and capture farm. The remainder of the team, with the exception of the rogue and the feral druid, are going to go ahead and do one of two things. We're going to describe option 1, Lumbermill, first. The entire team is going to move up to Lumbermill, having the Disciplined Priest mind control at least one person off the cliff and continuing to CC your assigned targets and try and get everybody cleared out of Lumbermill as quickly and quietly as possible. Now, the Rogue and the Druid have a very important part to play in these early stages of the game. Basically, what they're going to do is they're going to go ahead and follow the rest of the group up to Lumbermill and then go down stealth towards stables. The Rogue is then going to go ahead and sap, once both the Feral Druid and the Rogue are together, sap the character that they left behind at stables, start capping. The character is more than likely going to trinket. After the trinket, the Rogue's going to vanish. From vanish, resap, start capping. As soon as vanish wears off, the Druid's going to pounce, followed by Feral Charge, followed by bash. By then, the flag cap should be ours. Look at that CC chain. Once we are capping all three of those bases, what's going to happen is we're basically going to split off into essentially three separate groups. The Lumbermill farm team will consist of the one hunter remaining at the farm node, along with a Holy Paladin, a Warrior, and a Death Knight. They're all going to move down and sit in between Lumbermill and farm. The second team, otherwise known as the Lumbermill Stables team, is going to consist of a Feral Druid who is going to peel off from stables, leaving the Rogue stealth by himself at the node, the Resto Shaman, and either the Major Warlock, represented here by the light blue line, and the Feral Druid, Shaman, and Major Warlock are all going to meet up in the middle between stables and Lumbermill. So once these three nodes are either capped or close to being capped, the enemy is going to do one of four different things. Let's look at the first one, otherwise known as the Big Push Farm Strategy. Basically, what this means is we're going to see and call out at least 5 or more enemies making a push to try and capture farm. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and send the Lumbermill farm team to join up and intercept with the hunter at farm. As well as that team, we're going to send in the Disciplined Priest from Lumbermill to come down and assist them as well. While they're doing this, you want to make sure they're CC'd, you want to make sure they're getting burst down, you want to focus down the healers, and what we're also going to have is we're going to have the Lumbermill Stables team go ahead and shift from their position to the middle ground between farm and stables. And while we can send them in, it'd be ideal not to. So we want to make sure to get those people down as fast as possible. Now, it's very important to note that since we only have left the Rogue at stables, what the enemy is going to see is an empty base. And they're not going to pass up the opportunity to go try and send one, maybe 2 people to try and cap that. We need to keep this in mind. So basically what's going to happen is if they do send 1 or 2 people to try and capture stables, the Feral Druid's going to back off, peel back, and go assist the Rogue and make sure that that does not get capped while we're trying to fight and defend farm. So the second reaction that we may typically see from the opponent is going to be a small push farm strategy, which basically is going to be anything less than 5 people making a push towards farm. In that scenario, we won't send nearly as many people. All we're going to send is keep the hunter at the node along with the Lumbermill farm group, and basically they should be able to repel using CCs, focusing down healers, and the likes like that. The third reaction we may see out of the enemy is what we would call a big push stables reaction, which is essentially the same thing as a big push farm, only it's 5 or more people going stables. This time the tables are flipped, so basically to reinforce stables is going to go ahead and be the Lumbermill Stables team, which consists of the Resto, the Feral, and the Major Warlock with the Rogue. In addition, the Disc Priest is again going to go down from Lumbermill, go help them out. Again, we're going to have the Lumbermill farm team shift over to mid. In case the Hunter gets hit by one person, the Death Knight this time is going to go ahead and peel off and go a basically same thing in reverse. The fourth reaction that we may see from them is going to be what we're going to call a small push stables reaction, which is essentially, again, the same as a small push farm. We're going to leave most of the people at the same bases. The Rogue's going to remain at stables. The Lumbermill stables team's going to shift to aid, and we're basically going to clear them up pretty quick. Thankfully, if we're able to hold off all four of these separate attacks by the opposing team, essentially we 3-cap and win Arathi Basin. Alright, so let's rewind back to the start of this match. The Hunter's gone to farm. We look, we see too many people going Lumbermill, we decide we're going mine. This is basically what's going to happen. The entire group again, with the exception of the Rogue and the Druid, are going to go head down to mine and try to cap that, CCing, mind controlling, doing everything what you need to do to make sure that gets cleared out as fast as possible. Now again, the strategy for the Rogue and the Druid is to go ahead and follow the rest of the team to mine this time, cut back up to stables, do that same CC chain, make sure we get the cap on stables. Now the team setup here is again going to be leaving the Hunter at farm, the Rogue at stables, the Priest and the Retribution Paladin at mine. Then for the stables mine team is again going to be that Resto Shaman, that Major Warlock, or the Pharaoh Druid that will peel back. And then for the farm team is going to go ahead and be that Holy Paladin, the Warrior, and the Death Knight. So basically, the mid-game strategy after we've captured mine, stables, and farm isn't essentially really different from the one where we have Lumbermill, stables, and farm, in that they're still going to be doing that big or small push to stables or the big or small push to farm. Essentially what we have to do is do the same kind of rotating those teams, making sure everybody's getting backups, making sure the CCs are going off, making sure there's AoE on the nodes. Basically, we do the same thing we had just shown previously in the Lumbermill stables farm strategy. And if we can do that, again, we'll win with the 3-cap, only this time holding mine. And there you go, Arathi Basin win. So thank you for watching this video of the Trinket on Cooldown Arathi Basin RBG strategy. I've been Mograine, and remember those 3 key components to any RBG success: crowd control, peeling for healers, and situational awareness.